Good morning, friends. This is Reverend Sage Cole here, and I'm coming to you this morning from Ohio, where I've been attending the Institute on Theology and Disability and speaking about Helen Keller and the Helen Keller Center that I am seeking to build in Cambridge, Massachusetts. For our devotion this morning, I've been thinking a lot about change, about the unending process of change that is life. I'm actually here in Urbana, Ohio, where I went to college, and that college is no more. It closed in just the last few years, another symbol of change. Because change, while it sometimes feels like it's perpetual growth and building, always requires death and letting go. And at this institute where we're discussing theology and disability, we're acknowledging and much is being lifted up about how so much needs to change in our world if persons with disabilities are going to be fully included and a part of the community and world that we live in. I have a little cat friend visiting now. In my chapel, there's a lot of change happening, and that will be necessary and vital if this new center to honor Helen Keller is going to emerge. The process of change can feel challenging and hard. It can feel like we are ungrounded and unmoored, but in many ways only when we are sort of overly identified with this material world and overly identified with the structures and things that are in place now. And we know that God is always moving in our world. And if God's movement is going to have all of the fullness that we hope for, those institutions and those structures will transform and have been transforming and will continue. So I want to end my devotion this morning with a quote from my beloved Helen Keller, and all of these cats are adding to this morning devotion. And this comes from her book, Let Us Have Faith, that she wrote in her 60s, at a time in her life when she had been through a lot and matured. And so this is where she speaks of faith, not specifically in Swedenborgian terms, but in almost a deeper, more internal way that is her own. So here are Helen Keller's words. Security is mostly a superstition. It does not exist in nature, nor do the children of men as a whole experience it. God himself is not secure, having given men dominion over his works. Avoiding danger is no safer in the long run than outright exposure. The fearful are caught as often as the bold. Faith alone defends. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing. To keep our faces towards change and behave like free spirits in the presence of faith is strength undefeatable. Serious harm, I am afraid, has been wrought to our generation by fostering the idea that they would live secure in a permanent order of things. It has tended to weaken imagination and self-equipment and unfit them for independent steerings of their destinies. Now they are staggered by apocalyptic events and wreck delusions. They have expected stability and find none within themselves or in their universe. Before it is too late, they must learn and teach others that only by brave acceptance of change and all-time crisis ethics can they rise to the height of superlative responsibility. It is my prayer that we all rise to the height of superlative responsibility, and that as a church, as a community of faith, we embrace change not as a threat, not in a state of fear, but in faith and in confidence that God is leading us towards a better world. Blessings, friends. Have a wonderful morning.